Comics, villains aren't just obstacles for heroes, they're legends in their own right. Ultron, Zemo, Kang, the Rogues Gallery is what makes Marvel Comics so rich and so enduring. But when it comes to the MCU, not every villain survived the transition to the big screen. While Marvel Studios nailed Thanos, Loki, and Killmonger, far too many others were watered down, rushed, or turned into jokes. Today we're breaking down 10 villains who were completely wasted in the MCU compared to their comic book counterparts, explaining who they really are on the page, how Marvel changed them, and why the adaptations fell short. Let's get into it.
Like this, subscribe, like this video.
In the comics, Ultron is terrifying. Created by Hank Pym, he's a self-replicating AI who evolves past every defeat. Cold, merciless, and obsessed with wiping out humanity. Ultron isn't a one-and-done villain. He's an Avengers-level nightmare who keeps coming back stronger. In Age of Ultron, Marvel had all the ingredients. James Spader's chilling voice, Tony Stark's hubris as the creator, and an army of drones. But instead of a calculating machine, Ultron came off as a snarky Tony knockoff. Constant jokes and clumsy behavior undermine his menace. Most disappointing, he was defeated in a single movie. No multi-film arc, no terrifying comeback. Imagine an Ultron who evolves across phases 2 and 3, forcing the Avengers to adapt. Instead, one of Marvel's greatest villains was reduced to a quippy one-off. Taskmaster in the comics is one of Marvel's most unique villains. He can consistently copy anyone's fighting style. Cap's shield work, Hawkeye's archery, Spider-Man's agility, but beyond the skill, he's cocky, witty, and entrepreneurial, even training villains' henchmen for cash. In Black Widow, Taskmaster is rewritten as Antonia Dreykov, a mind-controlled weapon stripped of personality. No charisma, no banter, no mercenary swagger, just a silent enforcer. Fans were excited to see Natasha square off against an enemy who could literally fight like all her allies. Instead, we got a robotic pawn with none of the comic character's charm. A villain full of potential, reduced to background muscle, just to be killed off in the beginning of Thunderbolt. Helmet Zemo is Cap's ultimate nemesis in the comics. A legacy villain, tactical genius, and a frequent leader of the Masters of Evil. He's dangerous because he combines intellect with obsession, and his iconic purple mask makes him instantly recognizable. In Civil War, Zemo is reimagined as a grieving Sokovian soldier. His plan to pit the Avengers against each other is clever, but he lacks the mask, the legacy, and the larger threat that defines him in the comics. He feels like a side character rather than Cap's arch enemy. Falcon and the Winter Soldier brought back some comic flavor, finally giving him his mask and showing off his charisma. But his MCU debut wasted the chance to introduce one of Marvel's greatest schemers. In the comics, Dormammu is on another level. He's the ruler of the Dark Dimension, a cosmic tyrant who battles Strange repeatedly. He's not just a villain. He's a force of nature, manipulative, godlike, and terrifying. In Doctor Strange, Dormammu is a giant floating head who appears for about 5 minutes. The time loop trick is clever, but it reduces him to a plot gag instead of a cosmic nightmare. Dormammu should have been built up as Strange's ultimate nemesis across multiple films. Instead, he was a one-time cameo, with fans left wondering if we'll ever see the real Dormammu unleashed. Modok is one of Marvel's strangest but memorable villains. In the comics, he's George Tarleton, a mutated AIM scientist with a massive head and genius intellect. He's bizarre, terrifying, and darkly funny, often leading AIM in battles against the Avengers. In Quantumania, Modok is Darren Cross from the first Ant-Man, mutated into a floating head for comic relief. Instead of a genius manipulator, he's treated as a joke, complete with cringeworthy humor and a rushed redemption arc. Fans expected weird, menacing, and brilliant. Instead, they got a punchline with bad CGI. One of Marvel's most unique villains turned into little more than a meme. Surtur is the fire demon of Norse myth and comics, destined to bring about Ragnarok by destroying Asgard. He's an ancient apocalyptic threat, one of Thor's most dangerous foes. In Ragnarok, he's used as comic relief in the opening, and then as a plot device at the end to conveniently destroy Asgard. No epic duel, no real personality, no presence beyond CGI destruction. Imagine if Thor had to truly battle Surtur, wrestling with prophecy and fate. Instead, Surtur was reduced to background spectacle. The Mandarin is Iron Man's greatest villain. In the comics, he's a warlord wielding 10 alien rings, each with unique powers. He's charismatic, ruthless, and Tony's perfect counterbalance. Iron Man 3 teased him beautifully in trailers. Ben Kingsley's performance looked terrifying, but then came the twist. Trevor Slattery, a bumbling actor. For many fans, this felt like Marvel mocking their expectations. Shang-Chi gave us Wing Wu, a fantastic character who redefined the Mandarin concept, but Iron Man never faced his greatest nemesis. The trilogy ended without Tony battling the villain, who defines his comic book legacy. In the comics, Baron von Strucker is Hydra royalty, a cunning leader who keeps Hydra alive long after Red Skull's defeat. He's a reoccurring mastermind who clashes with the Avengers countless times. In the MCU, he's teased in the Winter Soldier's post-credit scene with the Maximoff twins, only to die off-screen in Age of Ultron's first act, one of Hydra's biggest villains reduced to cannon fodder. He could have been the bridge between Red Skull's Hydra and modern threats, but instead, he's forgotten. Crossbones is Captain America's brutal physical rival in the comics, a mercenary who fights dirty and even assassinates Cap during the original Civil War. He's menacing, violent, and personal. In the MCU, Frank Grillo was perfect casting. He's introduced in Winter Soldier and returns with upgraded armor in Civil War. But instead of being Cap's reoccurring nemesis, he blows himself up in the opening minutes of the film. This was a huge waste. Crossbones could have been Cap's equal on the battlefield and a long-term villain and a long-term rival. Instead, he became a forgettable character in the first act. Kang is one of Marvel's greatest villains, a time-traveling conqueror. He's fought the Avengers across centuries. His variants, Rama Tut, Immortus, Iron Lad, make him one of Marvel's most complex and reoccurring threats. Unlike Thanos, Kang isn't inevitable because of power alone. He's inevitable because time itself bends to him. In Quantumania, Jonathan Majors gave a chilling performance, but the writing let him down. He was hyped as the next Thanos-level villain, then lost to Ant-Man and his army of ants. His menace, his inevitability, the fear fans should have felt, gone in an instant. Kang should have been built up across multiple movies, terrifying heroes and winning battles before finally being brought down. Instead, his big debut left audiences questioning whether he could carry the multiverse saga. So there you have it, 10 villains who were butchered compared to their comic book counterparts. Instead, too many of these films were wasted as one-offs, jokes, or background plot devices. And while the MCU has given us some of the best live-action villains ever, it also left fans wondering what could have been if Marvel treated its rogues gallery with the same care it gave its own heroes. But what do you think? Which MCU villain was the most wasted? And which do you hope gets redeemed in the multiverse saga? Let me know in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe for more deep dives into comics, movies, and the stories we love. Follow me on Instagram, X, and TikTok at TheBeaverX, and I'll see you in the next one.